You flip back into the biggest issue for Americans as they voted, the economy, where cost of living was outpacing wages. You know, when it comes to a mandate, the economy is the place where Donald Trump, his tariff proposals, his tax cut proposals, his deregulatory proposals, clearly feels like he has the most ground to work with.
Wow. Well, folks, sometimes I have to give CNN credit for their reporting on what I think are the biggest issues affecting voters today in the United States. Hi, everyone. My name is Christopher. I'm the host of the Open Mind Show here on YouTube, and I'm trying to inject a level of political moderation in our hyper-polarized world. So if you're liking my content, definitely hit that subscribe button, like, share, tell your friends, comment below. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Folks, today we're going to talk about something that I've always mentioned, perhaps in my previous videos, where Sunny Hostin and The View was focused so much on race and misogyny as the guiding factors of the election. No. It's the economy, stupid. It's the economy. Who said that? Was that Bill Clinton? Well, CNN, interestingly enough, has actually doubled down on that because I think more and more Democrats are recognizing people care less and less about racism and misogyny and identity politics and more about what's in their wallets. So interestingly enough, here's some analysis from CNN, which I actually thought good on CNN for doing some research on this. So let's check it out.
When you look at the counties that were most deeply impacted by cost of living, this will show you where you see darker counties. That is where the cost of living simply outpaced the wage growth over the course of the last several years. You look at where the counties are darkest, where they had the most acute issues with this. Well, they look familiar because some of them are those blue wall states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Now, what's most interesting about this is this wasn't just a battleground phenomenon. In fact, if you come over here into the northeastern area, you see places like New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. These are all states, obviously, that Democrats not only won, but have long been Democratic strongholds. Well, here's what's interesting about that.
Check this out.
When you actually take a look at what happened in these states compared to Donald Trump's 2020 performance, every county that you see highlighted is a county that Donald Trump outperformed his 2020 results by 3 points or more.
Look at that.
New Jersey, look at New York, look up and down the Northeast, and you see just how many counties shifted to Trump significantly. That was a significant story of this entire election.
Now that is interesting. I'm glad that CNN is actually doing this research because, quite frankly, these are areas where there are groups of people who are not white, black, Hispanic, etc., who are voting for Trump in larger numbers. On a previous video, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already, where I chat about Sunny Hostin's absurd idea that race and misogyny guided people's decisions. Well, if you look at the early election results by demographic, which NPR just posted yesterday, you'll see Trump won a lot more younger voters, Hispanic voters, even younger black voters went to Trump in many states. Now, I think what some things people should remember is it's the undecided voter that really does shape an election. The swing states are the ones that really do shape the election. So I'm going to let this play some more, and I'm going to ask you to watch how CNN also does this analysis, which I think it starts off well, but then it gets a bit disingenuous. Let's keep it rolling here.
He did not win New York or New Jersey or Massachusetts or New Hampshire, but voters moved with him. This wasn't a battleground phenomenon. This wasn't a red state phenomenon. This was an everywhere phenomenon. Now, on tariffs, which will be central not just to the economic policy of the Trump administration, but also how he operates in national security, how he operates in bilateral relationships, it is clear that Trump has major goals that economists say wouldn't actually help on the cost of living basis. How that nets out will be critical in how those voters view Trump's perceived mandate. It is.
You see that? You see, CNN just can't control. They can't control themselves. They have to make a jab against Trump. Now, of course, it's not about whether or not the policies actually will work. No one really knows whether that'll work or not. Time will tell. The question for undecideds is the perception of whether or not the person in power is going to put in the policies that resonate with them, right? So it's about perception, less about results. And that's the thing that CNN sometimes does when they criticize Trump. It's like, oh, well, economists say that your policies won't work, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, it's not about work or not. It's about perception. Voting is a psychological thing, right? And so when we talk about that, it's important when we think about the voting perception, because that is exactly how people vote. Here's some research. This was done by who was this done by? Someone somewhere, 2012. Do implicit attitudes predict actual voting behavior, particularly for undecideds? Now, what's really interesting here is the research goes into a lot of detail about explicit versus implicit behaviors of undecideds. And in fact, the research does say that explicit behavior is a better marker for determining voter behavior. But what's interesting is that for undecideds, it's a combination of both explicit behavior and implicit behavior. People's feelings generally help predict their votes, but hidden thoughts are actually somewhat of a factor for undecideds. And so when you think about undecideds in an election, and you think about the economy, and you think about how bad it's doing, or etc., the perception of a leader being confident to reduce interest rates, to get well-paying jobs back into the United States, to remove like ridiculous taxes, etc., like that, like the perception guides someone's vote more so than the reality, right? So whether or not Trump does, get really good jobs back to the United States, people implicitly trust Trump more to do that than Kamala Harris. And I've said this before, but Trump has actually taken over the policy discussions on those issues by making his statements very easy to understand. We're going to bring back jobs to the United States. And, going back on his time as the lead, the doing big real estate deals in New York City, et cetera, like people implicitly trust Donald Trump in a strange way when it comes to getting things done. Now, when he says he's going to bring back good paying jobs to the United States, or if he says he's going to lower taxes, what does Kamala Harris and the Democrats say to that, to those same undecided voters who are primarily concerned about the economy? The policy space for debate is now overtaken by Donald Trump. And now Democrats are in that what they call sword and shield moment, where now they have to shield themselves from, okay, well, someone's going to say, well, Donald Trump is bringing jobs back to the United States. What say you? Right? So Donald Trump was able to define the policy debate discussion. And then Kamala Harris, what does she really say to that? How could she possibly respond in a meaningful way that's different enough from Donald Trump? She just can't, right? What do you say? You start criticizing Donald Trump's policies. Meanwhile, you yourself may not have an alternative. And undecideds, this is really important. I think undecideds, while explicitly they might think, hey, I don't agree with everything Donald Trump says, implicitly, they're like, you know what? I do want my taxes to go down. I do want interest rates to come down. I do want good jobs coming back to the United States. I do want those things. I'm not going to explicitly say that. Implicitly, I'm going to feel that. And when it comes to the two, I feel more of a stronger connection with Trump than I do Kamala Harris. So Trump was able to define the policy narrative, define the arena, make his policy objective very simple that anybody can understand. That basically forces the Democrats to be on the defensive more than on the offensive. And I think, to be honest, this is not a Republican or Democrat thing. This is just a candidate who understands human psychology. It's similar to Obama in the 2008 election, where he framed everything around hope and change. And that was such a powerful, simple statement that undecideds, while explicitly they might have thought, I don't know about, he seems inexperienced, implicitly they started resonating with that type of message. And perhaps that's why he won many of the swing states in 2008. But interesting to see CNN finally doing some more deep research on the economy. I keep saying it's the economy, stupid. That's what people vote on. The next part is I really hope CNN does an analysis on why specific demographic groups voted for Trump given their economic reality. So I'd love for them to explore the young Black voter, the young Hispanic voter, male voters, in specific swing states to get their realities and why Trump resonated more with them. I think we all kind of know, but I'd love for CNN to do more of an analysis on that so that more people can understand that this is not necessarily a phenomenon, but it's clearly something that we have to get away from, this idea of racism and misogyny as the guiding factors for undecideds in the election. It simply is not, and it's just clearly a baiting by Sunny Hostin and others. But let me know what you think. Do you agree with this analysis? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, folks, my name is Christopher. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, everyone.